Hi, I'm Dr. John Douillard. Welcome to LifeSpa.com, where we prove ancient medical wisdom with modern science. And today I want to talk about an NPR article that came out about probiotics and how probiotics are used for everything and how we use them, particularly for our kids after they have antibiotics and maybe to prevent colds and to prevent, because there's a bug or a probiotic for just about everything. And I always wonder, like, is the new normal that we're going to be taking a probiotic pill every day for the rest of our lives, when historically and in an evolutionary sense, we never took a probiotic? You know, back then when I graduated and I first got into practice back in 1984, we had probiotics back then. How many more years ago was that? And I realized very quickly that I give someone a probiotic, they'd feel better. But if I took them off of the probiotic, they would not continue to feel better. Where the probiotic was giving them some medicinal benefits, but it wasn't giving them permanent benefits. So it never really resonated well with me, because I was really always looking to how I can get people on, get better, get off of pills and powders and things that they need to take all the time. That's what I love about what we do here at LifeSpa. Yeah, we have herbs and organic herbs, but they're whole herbs. And the idea is to get the body into balance so it can make its own natural probiotics. So we're all looking for that magic bullet, right? Here's the probiotic for diabetes. Here's the probiotic for asthma. Here's the probiotic to antidote you from different types of antibiotics. And that's always a really big question, is that a really good time to take a probiotic after taking antibiotics? And yes, for sure. But it isn't like taking an antibiotic, for some folks, feel like it's the end of the world and I've just killed all my gut bugs. And for sure, it isn't what we want to do. But sometimes killing everything gives us the opportunity to start from scratch, which is really good, because the Western microbiome has gotten itself out of whack. There's three types of bugs we have in our gut: good guys, bad guys, and spectator bugs. And those are commensal bugs that take up most of the real estate, like spectators at a football game or something, and only a handful of guys on the field and all these spectators in the stands doing nothing but taking up valuable real estate. So it isn't a bad idea to, not that we're saying we should take antibiotics, but if you have to, you have to. And the problem with antibiotics is that for most of us, in lots of cases, we're taking it, we don't have to. But when you do have to, and you get everything cleaned out, this is a great idea, because you're getting rid of the spectators, which are taking up a lot of the valuable real estate. And in the Western microbiome, that's the problem. We don't have enough good guys to fight off the bad guys, because all the real estate is occupied by spectators who do nothing except clap a little bit. This isn't good enough. We have to do better. So yes, after you take a probiotic, then it would be a good idea to take certain types of probiotics that would knock out the spectator microbes, knock out some of the bad guys that are opportunistic as a result of that, but also are colonizers. Colonizers means that there are probiotics that actually stick to the gut wall. One of them is a probiotic we use called Bifidobacteria HN019. Oh gosh, I'm not exactly sure. HN019, I think it is. Which is a specific strain of probiotics. There's a handful of them that are beginning to be discovered that actually stick and adhere to your intestinal wall and proliferate the growth. And this study showed that it proliferated the growth of new permanent residents by 60%. In other words, it grew your permanent bugs by 60%. The other type of probiotics, most of what you get at the health food store, are transient probiotics. You take them, like I experienced back in 1984, was that people would get on, and as soon as they got off, things got bad again, because the probiotics didn't stick around. So today we have the luxury of doing a handful of things. One, taking colonizing probiotics. I've written a ton about that on my website. Type in lifespa.com/probiotics and you'll read all about colonizing versus transient probiotics. You'll learn a ton more about how to do that and some of the ones that we use here at LifeSpa and how important they are. But more importantly than that is the environment that these bugs live in, which is your intestinal skin. And that's the problem, is that our intestinal tract has been irritated and inflamed and broken down by processed foods and pesticides that kill the microbes that heal and restore the balance of your intestinal protective lining or your barrier, so you don't become vulnerable to the systemic uptake of toxicity into your body. So, and I've written a ton of articles about that using, I use a formula, we call it the slippery elm prebiotic formula, which is a combination of slippery elm and licorice and marshmallow root. You take 3 tablespoons of this chopped, very not ground herb, soak it in 2 quarts of water overnight. You boil it down from 2 quarts to a half a quart in the morning, strain it through a metal strainer, put it in the jar in the fridge, take what you need to take, tablespoon doses throughout the day, and we coat the whole intestinal tract with this natural prebiotic slime, soluble fiber, which your bugs eat. And you coat it like the Pepto-Bismol commercial, giving healing and repairing and soothing your intestinal tract. And then I give you the colonizing probiotics, the ones that will knock out the bad guys and actually repopulate with the good guys. And that product is called Gut Revival. And you can read the ingredients in that. Just type in LifeSpa.com/Gut Revival. You read everything that's in that product. And that is magical, that I use so often with my patients to get them to start to do permanent residence. So you don't need to take a probiotic for the rest of your life. Now, in that article, the NPR article that got me into this whole idea of probiotics and magic bullets, they talked about kids and how to take probiotics. And there was a study, it was done in New Zealand by a biochemist who, as a young child, got lots of colds and got sick all the time. And when he got older, became a biochemist, he actually measured the bugs in people's mouths and kids' mouths. And a lot of kids are missing certain bacteria. One called Streptococcus salivarius. Salivarius is a bug that is powerfully antiseptic, and it wards off other bad microbes that can take us out, particularly take our immune system out, which is, our mouth is our first line of defense, and there's bugs in there that are very, very important. So there are probiotics like that. There's one that's the Streptococcus salivarius. We can find one. We have a sublingual where you suck on it and chew on it to help reboot the good bugs in your mouth. But that bug, that microbe, would be good for certain kids who are maybe vulnerable to getting sick a lot. They might not have that kind of population of that type of microbe, which is very, very protective for the immune system. So that's one you can look at, and you can read more about that on my website. It's called LifeSpa. It's called Our Oral Defense, and you can read the science behind that research, behind that probiotic, which is really fascinating. So after a probiotic, yes, I would go in there and slime it up with the slippery elm, marshmallow, and licorice roots, prebiotic slime, and then knock out the bad guys and repopulate the good guys for a month. Do that, and then you're done, ready to go. There's so much more to learn about that, but I don't believe that we should all be taking probiotics every day. And traditional folks never did that. I don't take them every day, but I do repopulate on a regular basis. So I take them sporadically throughout the year to keep the good bugs alive and well. And definitely, if I ever took an antibiotic, I would for sure do that. But the idea is that we don't need to be on a probiotic for the rest of life. This is a very trendy kind of a thing. It's a fad. There's not a ton of research really in that's been really understood. We know still very, very little about the microbiome, but they can hurt you. And at least we don't think, there's no science showing that they can hurt you. So I think they're fine to take, but fundamentally we need to become self-sufficient. And that's the goal that I desire for all of my patients, is to not only get better, get off, so they can become self-sufficient and live in a circadian seasonal way. That the bugs from organic foods in the seasons that they're harvested, so with the right bugs that are from the soil, that are attached to the right plants that become our food, that change our microbiome from season to season to season, because that's the new science, that the microbes are shifting seasonally. And for us to stay kind of up to date in a seasonal circadian way, we need to shift our bugs, our food, organically and change the microbiome guard from season to season to season. And that may mean different bugs, different probiotics in every season, or just eat the foods that are organic, that aren't washed and scrubbed in power washed, that have some microbes on them and start to repopulate like we did for thousands of years, millions of years. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.